Sunday night and International Women's Week. We're making it because it's International Women's Day, of course, on the 8th of March, as happens every year. But this year we thought we would, as usual at Asaase, do something different, and so make it a whole month of celebrating women, Ghanaian women, made in Ghana women, and the wonderful things that they're doing to transform their communities and lives of people around them. So today, for Sunday night, we've come to Nungwa, on the road between Teshi and Tema, and to a very interesting workshop, she calls it, run by an astonishing woman called Aisha Mackenzie, who makes natural skincare products and other things that we might hear a little bit about later on in the program. So welcome to the story of Aisha Mackenzie Bottier and Skin Passion. Hello, Aisha.
Hi, hello.
And thank you so much for receiving us into this amazing space. I mean, it's like a green cathedral. What would you describe this area of your operations as?
This is where we do everything, you know, from the soaps to the fermented foods, anything at all. This is our workshop. And I'm really into nature, so I decided to create something, ambience that we could all enjoy whilst we are working. And, you know, just enjoy, you know, nature and make it, you know, make the workspace a little bit more interesting. Yeah.
I say this is a beautiful place. I feel quite envious of you coming here and seeing your plants, your paintings, your show boards of your soaps, which we'll talk about a bit later on.
Okay.
But literally, all these plants here, have you potted them yourself, or you had help, or where
Yes, I do, but I do get help from one of my workers. He helps me with digging of the soil and also to plant, you know, some of the stuff we are nursing. So yes, but basically I do it all, you know, by myself. Yeah.
So it's not just for the beauty of the plants. You actually use some of these plants in your beauty care products that you make.
Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. There are certain things that are rare. You know, for example, we have the Moringa tree inside, and maybe you want to make Moringa soap, you know, so I don't have to go out there looking for the plants or the leaves. You know, I can just go inside or outside and pluck it. So I try to, you know, plant some of the things that I need and use, and also things that are rare that, you know, you can find. I like to experiment growing them. Yeah.
Wow, I mean, this is amazing. Where did your interest, first of all, in the natural world and gardening come from? You're a native of Nungwa.
Yes, I am a native of Nungwa. Mom and dad all comes from Nungwa. You know, 100% Nungwa girl, you know, born and bred here. Up to a certain age, after secondary school, you know, before I migrated, I traveled.
Tell us a bit about your traveling. You moved to...
Yeah, in 1989, I left Ghana to the States. And I went to school there, trained as a medical assistant. And in the 80s, when the AIDS epidemic, you know, was really out there, so I was working for healthcare for the homeless projects, but I had a special training in AIDS, HIV. I do counseling and all that. So we were taking care of the homeless people on the street, and we had a special care unit, because what was happening is the shelters, they can come and sleep, but they have to leave in the morning. Now, if you have somebody who was really sick, you know, because they've developed full-blown AIDS, and they are released from the government hospital, where do they go? So we created a special care unit where they could stay, you know, and I was part of that team, which is also, you know, under the umbrella of Healthcare for the Homeless project. Yeah.
Did people in Nungwa believe you when you came back and you told some of these stories, or you spoke to people on the phone about working with people in the Western country, the richest Western country in the world, with homeless people and people suffering from AIDS?
Well, it was a culture shock for me, but myself, when I first arrived in America, you all know how we hold, the Western world and the people in high esteem, and it was a big shock for me. I was working for the homeless project, and you see all these Americans, who are homeless, sleeping in streets and under bridges and cardboards on the walkway. It was a very big culture shock for me, because I came from a place that at the time, I mean, if you don't have a place, there's always a grandma place, an uncle, somewhere you could lay your head. And so yes, when I related back then, about the AIDS, and you say there's a white man or somebody doesn't have a place to sleep, sleeps on the bridge, under a bridge, they it was hard to swallow. They hardly don't believe it, but it was my experience. I was there. I know what I was, seeing and what I was going through. So, yes, it was a shock for me and also for the people back home when I related it to them.
Yeah. So you made a life for yourself there. You had a highly responsible job.
Yes.
And also a very committed job to the community, working with the most vulnerable members of society.
Exactly.
Was that, if you like, interest in community work something that you had experienced before in Ghana, or was it a first-time experience for you moving to America?
It was a first-time experience, Basically what happened was when I got there, I quickly realized that, if I really want to work and find work easy, I have to go into the health sector, So I first trained as a geriatric nurse, taking care of old people individually in their homes. And whilst I was doing that, I was going to school at night. Monday to Thursday, I was going to school from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., training as a medical assistant. So when I finished, then I got a job with Healthcare for the Homeless Project. And it was the only, sector I worked with till I left the States. Yeah. I was working in 13 different clinics throughout the weeks. Throughout the week, because we might go to, let's say, Emory Shelter and work there from 8 to 12, and then close, and then go to La Casa, maybe from 1 to 4. Just running through the different clinics. Yeah, it was, quite an experience. And when I joined the special care unit for the AIDS, I had to go for training for that. It was really heartbreaking, because these were all individuals with their stories. These were not necessarily bad people, but just little mistakes or little mishaps in life that just brought them down. And you sit and you play a game with one of the patients, and then you go back home, you get off duty, you go home, and then you come the next day, he's not there, he's been rushed to the hospital, and then you hear he's, I personally watched about over 150 to 200 people die, in my unit where I was working. And these were people, and the saddest things were some of them, because of their situation, they're hiding from their family. Their families don't know where they were. Some got it through blood transfusions. Some got it, because they were raped in prison, because they had a drug. All kinds of sad, heartbreaking. It really almost broke me. It was just too much.
A tough
the
job.
People's stories you hear. Yeah.
A very tough job.
Yeah.
Which part of the United States was
I was in Washington, D.C.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Right. So the opposite. And then in 1996, you decide to move back to Ghana.
Yes. I didn't really decide to move back. My children's father, he got a job with USAID. So we were transferred to, Zimbabwe.
Oh.
Okay, so he left. Of course, I was dragging my feet. I was like, all my friends were like, don't go. But I had 3 little kids, and I also liked the idea of them growing up here in Africa. So that was how I left the United States, and we were in Zimbabwe, then South Africa, then Chad, Cameroon, Ivory Coast.
All around the house for how many years?
Oh, wow. I have to think about the dates, but eventually we ended up in Ghana. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what was your experience like of living in those African countries?
They were good because I get to, see different places, and that was how I learned French, because we're in Ivory Coast and French-speaking countries, and I have to learn the basics so I can at least even go to the market. But what I didn't like about it is I wasn't able to work. I wasn't able to work with my you know, my training, my background, because there are certain rules and laws, you know, of hiring people from the land, you know. Of course, it was, you know, my husband who was transferred there, and if I want to work as a nurse or something in the, you know, the only thing I could do is volunteer.
Right.
You know, once or twice a week when I have time, I have to volunteer, you know, if they have an AIDS department or go and do counseling. But I couldn't really work. And that was frustrating for me.
They would always give first choice to their own nationals from the country.
Exactly.
And everywhere you went in Africa, you've mentioned Zimbabwe, you've mentioned South Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, Chad, Cameroon.
Chad.
Chad. What was that like? Were you able to make a garden in Chad? Was that something that you did?
In Chad, no, I didn't do that. What I did in Chad was quite interesting. Chad was at the time, I don't know the status now, but Chad at the time was the 5th poorest country in the world. And what was interesting, you don't see the Chadians really, you know, interacting with the expats or the foreigners at work, fine, but after that is, you know, it's also a Muslim community, and then there are dress codes. You can just walk to the market wearing a short skirt, or so you see stones flying, you know, that you have to cover your head and all kinds of things. But what I did in Chad was they grow millet, and when it's peak season, the prices are so low. So we had a shed at the back of our house. So I would just buy a whole bunch of millets and just keep it. And then when it's off season and the prices are high,
it's millet's future.
That was what I was able to do there. Yes, that was what I did in Chad.
So you clearly have the instinct also for trading as well as your interest.
I've, you know, to go back, you know, I mean, ever since I could remember myself, I've always been selling something.
Really?
Yes. You know, I grew up here, and I'm from a fishing community. My grandfather, my uncles, my cousins were all fishermen. My mom was a fishmonger. My aunties, you know, so practically I grew up on the beach. You know, those days we go shift. You know, you go in the morning till afternoon, and then you close. I'm right there at the beach, you know, hustling my cousins, getting fish, and then coming on the land and selling it. So I've always been selling something.
So you would go and buy your fish?
Oh, I don't buy. You know, I go to my cousins. They went fishing. So I'm holding my little bowl there. Give me, you know, so when they give me, then I come and sell it. So I've always sold something.
And where did you sell? At the market, or you sold individually to people?
Oh, no, there are ladies at the beach who buy it from, and if you have 2-3 fish, they'll just buy it. They're also collecting it, then they go and, you know, yeah, we call it fallback. You know, so I remember one day I had my manual, you know, and I was in the ocean, you know, because the boats were there, and then somehow I lost my money. It was a terrible day. I cried and cried and cried. But I give credit today to my grandmother for my education, because she put her foot down and she's like, you know, you're going to have, you know, an education. I didn't want to go to school. I want to sell. I want to be right there and make money, you know. So she gathered my cousins, right? When they see me at the beach, that is supposed to be school time, they had to catch me and carry me all the way to the school. My feet will not touch the ground.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
You know, so I'm grateful to her that she put her foot down, and she's like, you know. So I've done all that, you know. I've, my God, do you want to hear about the things I've sold in my life and done in my life?
Oh, give us a little flavor. Okay.
I've roasted plantain before. I've sold this banku, and those days it wasn't tilapia, it's tofu. You know, the turkey tail. You know, I've sold used bed sheets. You know, I've sold asana, because those days in the whole of from Nungwa to Labadi, my grandmother was the only one selling the corn drink for funerals, asana, medan.
Medan, as they call it.
So each time she has an order, whatever is left, we have to come to the main road early in the morning, because there were not fridges at the time, so ice blocks were not around. It's a car that brings it. A truck, so you have to buy the ice, and then around 11 o'clock we go selling our cold asada. So I've done all that, yeah.
So you really know the trading life of this area, and you really know this community. So you spend all that time going all the way around Africa after being in the States, and then eventually you move back to Ghana. Roughly when?
We came back to Ghana. From 1996, probably to like, let's say 2005, finally, you know.
And you settled, first of all, in Nungwa. You came straight back here? Or?
Yes, we came back to the house here. And then eventually we moved to East Legon. Then I decided to turn this place into a guest house. That's why I say Ofole Lodge. Ofole is my little sister. She died early. She died in 2001. So I decided to name the place after her. So I was into the guest house. So this, where we are sitting now, used to be the bar. People used to, But of course, these were like chamber and hall apartments. It wasn't, but it wasn't working well for the simple fact that even though I wasn't around when I started it. I still travel. I go to Italy. I buy shoes and bags, and I wasn't sitting there. I was going up and down. And then, you come back home, you can see your money, So eventually I had to let that go. And then, just decided to rent it out. Yeah. So that was what I was doing.
And then at what stage did you think to yourself, I'll start a skincare products business? Or how did Skin Passion come about?
Oh, Skin Passion, I was not, a skincare business was not part of anything. Like I said, I have a skin condition. I have psoriasis. Okay, first it was diagnosed as lichen planus, and then it was later confirmed to be psoriasis. And when you buy products from town and you use it, it's already itchy, and so it wasn't helping me. And I've always said, I was going to make my own soap. So actually, what I did before, I bought just the Alatasabna. And then the black soap, yeah. Then I will put aloe vera in it, scrape aloe vera in it, and
that's the gel from the leaves.
And then blend it and mix it in the soap, And then I put it in jars. Then I said Skin Passion, but of course I never took it anywhere and sold it,
And with the aloe vera in the soap, what difference did that make to your psoriasis?
The aloe vera is very good for the skin, and so it was helping me. But so that was what I settled for. Until I watched YouTube, one day out of boredom, really, I was watching YouTube and I saw somebody make, papaya soap, and then they had titanium dioxide, white stuff, and design. So I sat up. I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. I can do this. Believe me, at that time I didn't even know what caustic soda was. I'm very impulsive, really. I just jump into things without even, thinking. So I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I went to the market and I'm looking for caustic soda. I thought it's something you could just buy. So eventually I found it in Tema. And also I didn't know that it was a dangerous stuff, that it was corrosive. But I brought that thing home and poured it into something. Something was just telling me, don't put your hand.
Or you'd have dipped your hand straight in and probably made
I just had this feeling that don't do this. And then, to make soap, you need a stick blender, you need a scale, you have to weigh I had nothing, So I just eyeballed, this, that, and, I didn't have a blender, so I was using my stick, for about an hour till it gets thickened.
Literally blending by hand.
Yes, that's how bad I wanted to make that soap. So, those soap dishes, the square ones.
Yes.
Yeah, so I went and got some as my mold and poured my soap in, covered it, and I was just waiting for that 24 hours to come. And eventually it came, I opened it, and they were hard. It wasn't perfect, but
they had said,
oh my God, they had said the whole world could hear me.
You screamed?
Yeah, I was just happy.
So just to explain, the main ingredients of the soap are what? They're potash?
Yeah, the main ingredients for making soap are three things. Right. There's water, sodium hydroxide, which is lye or caustic soda, and oil. Okay. These are the main baselines of making soap. Without caustic soda, without lye, you cannot make soap. Of course, once the soap is formed, what you really have is a bar of salt, and then you let it cure for like 4 to 6 weeks, and that eliminates all the, the lye from it, and the moisture, so basically it's chemical, free. Yeah.
Wow.
That's,
so you then, after watching these videos, got the idea that maybe you could start making your own soaps. But as you said, the basic thing that you were looking at was anagosamla, as we would call it in Ghana.
That's what I was using.
The black soap, and you were using that as the basis and just initially combining it with ingredients, and then you went a step further and you actually decided to start
make the
making
bar soap.
your bar soaps.
Yeah.
And that was purely for your personal use.
Oh yes, oh yes. You know, and once I made that, you know, soap, like I tell everybody now who wants to learn soap making, I'm always like, beware. Soap making is very, very, very addictive.
Why do you say that?
Oh my God! If you make your first soap, you don't end there. You know, then you want to try this, then you want to try this, then you want to try this, and I am just the type of person when I have an idea in my head. You know, after making my first soap, and then I made the second one with different ingredients.
What were the ingredients in your second soap?
I think the second soap I did was Moringa leaves, you know, and then I realized, so once I had a concept of it, and then I will research a certain ingredient, and then I've decided to make soap out of it. I just cannot rest till that soap is made. You know, that was how, so these are all my own recipes that I created.
Yes, we've got a beautiful display in front of us of all kinds of soaps. You've got neem, you've got cocoa and cucumber, you've got, I think, a black soap and tamarind over here, moringa and cucumber. Papaya. I mean, this is extraordinary. I mean, people would say this is a very un-Ghanaian thing. Or did you discover that actually there's a small movement of people who are making these sorts of handmade soaps?
Okay.
And began to experiment with.
The other aspect also was, you know, when I was training myself on YouTube, you know, most of the soaps that are made with just the basic, like I said, soap, water, and water, oil, and caustic. But they were using a lot of colors, mica colors, to create beautiful things. And I really wanted that also, you know. But then I came to the realization that, you know, I mean, I can't have it, you know, because then I have to order it from abroad and things. And also, me really, really wanting to make natural products, you know, because when I made my Moringa soap, I realized, you know, it was green. And when I made my papaya soap, I saw the color. And so when I made the charcoal soap, it was black. When I made the rice soap, it was white. So these were all colors. That was what gave me the idea that I should create the colors from my ingredients.
Natural colors from the
actual ingredients. So I don't put colors in my soaps.
But the mica colors wouldn't have irritated your skin then?
That was also one, you know, at the time I was just looking at the beauty of it, you know, trying to create something beautiful. But I also realized that, you know, those are colors, you know, and that's not the main reason why I wanted to make soap. So why not try to create the colors from my, you know, ingredients so that I keep everything natural. Yeah. But
in terms of if you like, the base ingredients, say the fruit and the leaves, the natural products, you have practically everything that you need here in your own garden.
Yes. And the ones I don't have, I can go to the market and buy it. So I realized that, you know, try making the soap from what I have. So that's what I resolved, to making soap, natural soaps from what we have. Because look around us here in Ghana. You know, we have everything. We have everything. So what eventually happened was I was making my soaps and making videos and putting it on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Then I started getting all these comments, and all these soapers started contacting me. Then they wondered what I have. You know?
Oh, so you know yourselves as soapers.
Yes, you know, it's like, you know, can I get some moringa leaves or moringa? Then I said, well, I cannot ship you the leaves, but I can ship you the powder. You know, papaya leaves, all the things I was using.
You were actually shipping these ingredients overseas. You're getting demands from what sorts of places?
Oh, about, let's say, 89 or 90% of my customers are from North America. Second is Europe, and then I have Asia also, you know. And then one of the biggest things, because I collect the plantain peels and then the cocoa, you know, pods, the one that they've taken, you know. Sure. Then I dry them out there. There's a video of it on YouTube. Then I burn it and create the ash out of it. And I used it to make one of the soap that I said, I call it the black soap and moringa. I just don't make the black soap. You know, I make the black soap, but incorporate moringa or papaya in it. I was trying to create something using the same ingredients that is used in our local traditional black soap, but in the bar form. Because that is soft and mushy, but I wanted to create a bar form, so I created that.
Because and that cake is a lot more practical than the Asaase, which
by the same ingredient. And that just blew up. I sell that ash like, almost every day I ship it to soapers around the world.
So are those all these ingredients that are lined up here? The various, what are these lined up here on the shelf?
Mushroom spawns. So I grow the spawns here, and once they are colonized, and then I put them through a process to fruit. So these are millets and these are mushroom spawns. This is something completely different.
So that's the fermented food side of your business, which we'll get onto perhaps in a bit. But if you can just explain, because people will be interested in this, if only for their own use, if they want to start soap making at home. What are the benefits of something like moringa in soap? We hear a lot about moringa and its high vitamin C content, so people take it as a supplement. I've taken moringa pills myself.
Yeah. Okay.
But what does it do for the skin?
Exactly. Like I said, from my own research, a lot of the things we ingest is also, topically good for the skin. Moringa is antifungal, it's antibacterial, it's antiviral, from the tree, the top to the bottom, it's all medicinal and it's very good for the skin. And by using the leaves and also moringa oil, added to the oils that I make the moringa soap,
Do you make your own moringa oil?
No, I would love to, but that you need a press. You have to press it. Right. So I just buy it. They do it in enough. I buy the oil, the moringa oil, to make it. So if you are using such a soap, the one thing that runs through all the soaps I make is that they are all really natural products. You know what is in there. Nothing that is not needed, your skin does not need, is in there. Everything in there is what your skin needs. Yeah.
So just to remind viewers that you're watching us and listening to us on Sunday night on Asaase Radio, and we are here in Nungwa on the outskirts of Accra talking to Aisha Mackenzie Bottier, who is the maker of some wonderful skincare products, all natural, a cottage industry virtually that she started from her very own house. And she's been telling us the amazing story of how she turned this into a business that sells everywhere from Washington, D.C. to the Far East.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, Aisha, if we can, if you like, pursue the story. So, was it when you started to make the soaps and get this interest from people, as you said, who contacted you, having seen your YouTube videos, that you then thought, there's the makings of a business here? Or did you know right from the start that you had this?
Actually, right from the start, no. It really happened when I got a call from some people who were in the industry already. I forgot their names, but they called me one day because they saw it on Facebook. I was just posting it. I'm just so excited when I cut myself, just posting and posting. And then they're like, we're having a natural soap fair. Would you like to participate? I'm like, huh? Me?
That's here in Ghana.
That is here in Ghana. So I'm like, sure. So they came out here just like you guys came, and I filled the forms and paid, and I went to my first soap, event. And then, people were buying.
In Accra?
In Accra, at the fair. So that was where really the business aspect kicked in. I'm like, oh, I got something here. I was just making soap. Everywhere, the house was full of soap, but I wasn't selling it or anything. Yeah.
You had a house full of soap that was just purely for love of your experiment.
Exactly. So after that show, that was when it really kicked off the business. So I started going to exhibitions all over. And then I eventually opened a shop on Etsy. Etsy is an international platform where you can only sell things that you make, handmade, homemade stuff. Then I opened it up there on it. And then I started selling it internationally, also and shipping it. Yeah.
And you had instant interest on Etsy?
Oh, yes. I mean, you should look at the reviews, and I do sell a lot on Etsy. Yes, I sell the soaps itself. Then I sell the ingredients. I have moringa powder there. I have neem powder. I have the plantain peels. I have shea butter. I do sell, all kinds of stuff on Etsy.
And how did you set up your page? I mean, was selling online something that you had any experience of?
Oh, no. I mean, like I said, I'm very inquisitive, I mean, my children, right? My son had a brand, Clove, that he was making hats from African prints. And he had his website and things. And they met with a lady in Cameroon, actually. Yeah, him and his girlfriend. And then when they came back, they were telling me this lady sells on Etsy. And I was just listening. But the moment he left, I quickly went, so what is Etsy, Then I saw that I could sell them. But the only drawback was they don't allow direct payments. And so I have to have a PayPal account. Ghana is one of the countries that, So I said to my son, you have a PayPal account? He said, yes. I said, can I use it to sell on Etsy? So I put some few soaps in there, and then he gave me his, PayPal account, the Gmail, and I that's how I got on Etsy.
That was the beginning.
And then within a few days, I started, people started buying. Oh, you should have seen me. I was so excited. Yeah, that's how I got on Etsy. Yeah.
And I mean, you can clearly tell that there is a taste for what you do. And you've spoken about doing fairs here in Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana. Yeah.
But when people come to see you, to see your products at fairs and they start buying, are they buying for the novelty value of what you're doing as special gifts? Or are some of them people like yourself who need these soaps for special skin conditions?
I think, first of all, when they come to my stand, they are intrigued and shocked. Seeing tomato, mango, rice, charcoal, and what, so they're like, what is this? So I explain it to them. And I didn't even realize it when I got into all this, that, there was a movement. There was it was trending. People want the natural products, and, and then I explained to them, and then they read the benefits, or some people already know about it. And the fact that it's also locally made and all that, that intrigues them. So yes, people will buy stuff like the whiskey soap or the chocolate soap because they just want to go show it. Yes. They just want to go show it to somebody. But majority were really buying it because of what it stood for as a natural product, that, because people were conscious of all the chemicals, in the ingredients that were seeping into their, pores and stuff. So people wanted it. So yes, that's why they buy it. Yeah.
So you set up in 2013 with your business. And when you started out, how many people did you have working with you? Or was it just you?
Oh, it was just me.
One woman business.
Yeah, it was just me. It's only 4 years ago that Kwame joined me, and then my nephew here was sitting here. It's just me. Everything was just me. It's just me. I didn't have any workers. No.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, I didn't have any workers.
And in terms of your skincare products business and what you would like to see it turn into, you're here, you're very much part of Nungwa life, as you say. You're Nungwa born and bred.
Yes.
You've returned to the place where you grew up.
Mm-hmm.
How has what you do with Skin Passion had an effect on this community in which you live?
Oh, I think it has, had quite an impact. I've trained a few people, and people are really curious also, just wanting to know how in the world I make yoi with, solve the arguments and, yoi soap and things. And I always give away. So, and I've had people in the community with skin conditions and things come to patronize, to buy after I've given them samples and stuff, for them to buy. So for them, I think it's more of an intriguing thing, and, stuff they would like to learn, and also understand, and I really educate them because, if we have to be fair, we all know what is going on with our ladies, in terms of the bleaching, in terms of, so I really, really talk about that because people come to me and with all kinds of, and they're like, as the result of bleaching, so what can they do? And I'm like, well, I can try and help you, but you need to help yourself first by stopping it. I say, you know, no matter what, you cannot get your skin, those that are really damaged. I say, you can't get your skin, you know, but if you stop, you know, you can, you know, repair it gradually, but you need to stop it. So I really make a point on talking to them. I'm always talking. It's not just the ladies, it's the guys, you know. Like I said, I come from a fishing, you know, our brothers, they're all bleaching. I'm like, what is this? You know, I have my own nieces, you know, who lives in the Nuwata, and nephews who are bleaching. Some won't come to my house now. Even if they send them here, they won't come because they know the moment they get in here, they're going to hear the preaching. Yeah. So that is one thing that I'm really trying to make noise about, tell people, you know, this is so wrong. I said, anytime you see your skin damaged like this, it's not just that. Your major organs are also that, because your liver, your kidneys are like the, you know, what's the word to use, like strains that, you know, so
they filter out,
it filters the impurities. And you know, some of these creams you are supposed to use only for 2 weeks and then stop for certain days and use again, and then you are using it constantly, you know, for years. I said, do you know what is happening to your major organs? You know, so that is one thing that, you know, I always look for the platform to talk to. I always talk to people about it. Yeah, so that is one of the, you know, impacts that, you know, and some do listen. They do listen. Then they're like, well, I didn't realize the cream I bought. I said, no, you know, try and read the ingredient. Look for you know, quinine, the silicone thing, all this thing. Look for it's hidden, but it's there. I said, you know your color, right? When it starts changing, you should know something is wrong. You know, I said, it looks beautiful now, but you see the people in town, you see, I mean, the samples are there for you. Examples are there for you.
And does it look really beautiful?
No.
That's another question altogether. Yeah. I must say, Aisha, you're a wonderful walking advertisement for the power of your own soaps, because you've got such a beautiful, even-toned skin.
Thank you.
Do you use the soaps on your face
as well?
Yes,
I use the soaps, I use the charcoal, I use the mask, and the clay mask. I do, you know, I mean, of course, when I make soap, there's always leftovers, right? So I have this big bucket and I put everything in. Then I use it. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the clay masks, because you were telling me a bit about that earlier.
Yeah, the clay mask, you know, we have clay here, the kaolin clay, that you know, right?
Which is used for the white traditional markings.
Yes,
used for depot and
but it's very good for the skin.
Oh, really?
It's very good for the skin. So, you know, you just mix it with water, you grind it, and you mix it with water, and then you apply it to your face. I also have bentonite clay, but bentonite clay, we don't have it in Ghana. So bentonite clay. And there are only 2 major places in the world that has it. That is California, Fort Benton. That's why I got the name bentonite. And then in India, the Indians call it the healing clay. So yes, you can use that, you know, as a face mask, but it's more effective internally when you drink it.
Oh gosh.
Yes,
really?
Because like I said, just like charcoal, it binds to the, you know, it binds to the impurities or the stuff that is not good in your stomach. Our bodies are acidic. All these things are alkaline. It's just positive and negative. When you drink it, you know, it has no choice but to bind, to remove, you know. So it's something that you can drink once or twice a week. And if you want to do really deep detox, then you do it morning, evening for like 2 weeks. And you drink it. But the best clay for the skin comes right here in Ghana here. We call it, as Ghanaians, we call it susukoli.
Susukoli.
It's the clay that is mixed with the sand that they used to build in the houses, and then they used to make in the fireplaces and all that. There's a way to extract the clay out of it.
This is just like the red earth, the laterite.
Yeah, the laterite, that's the word.
Like adobe.
Yeah.
Just ordinary clay.
Yes.
The stuff that you find tons of in brown house.
Yes. This is made from that.
Your amazing soap.
Yes.
It's made with laterite.
Laterite, both colors. Because once you filter the clay out, you know, when it sees the clay always go to the bottom. So you can use the top to give you a different shade. You know, different shade. So I can create like 10 different shades out of that clay. So, and then, but that clay, when you use that clay, you know, on your face, my God, I was going through something recently, so I had a lot of breakout, you know.
You were getting
color,
spots.
you know, spots. So it wasn't even meant for that. I was just doing a facial, I just put it on, you know, and then later I washed it off. But then in a couple of days time, I told Kwame, I said, Kwame, don't you see everything is gone? You know,
just
and that's from the laterite.
I said, letting it dry. Letting it wash off with water. You don't add anything to it.
Nothing.
Amazing.
So we got treasures here.
We certainly have in abundance. And you mentioned the internal uses that you've begun to discover of some of the products that you actually use in soap making for the outside. Now, where did this interest that you have in things on the inside begin?
Like I said, with my own condition, you know, I do a lot, you know, I know that almost all sicknesses, illnesses, and conditions begins with the weakening of the immune system. And what breaks down the immune system is toxins. You see, so I was researching how to really get rid of toxins. And that was when I came across, you know, the clays, the kaolin clay, which we have here, the bentonite clay, and charcoal, basically. This will get rid of toxins. So it's something that everybody needs to have. I always tell them, I say, you need to have this charcoal in your, just drink once a week, you know, and make sure everything you've accumulated during the week, you've gotten rid of it. It helps.
Now, people think that this is the kind of thing that only pregnant women with obsessions do, like they like to eat kaolin or whatever. But actually, you're saying it's a regular detox that you can take.
It is. And what I do is, when I tell people about it, I always give them a link to a website. It's called the bentonite clay testimonials or kaolin clay testimonials. And, you know, you have no idea what these clays can do. Basically, because, and it makes sense. If the cause of, let's say somebody has diabetes, or somebody had blood sugar, or blood pressure, or anything else, it's all there because something's gone wrong in the immune system. Or there are toxins that are causing that problem. So you start to drink the clay or the charcoal. You are removing the toxins. What do you think is happening? You're also removing the root cause of the problem you're having. So eventually, you know, you get well. Yeah.
And then you started a fermented foods business. So you were telling us about your mushroom cultures that we can see up here. It's just, how many different kinds of mushroom have you got there?
Oh, well, there is the, what do you call it? There's a culture for the oysters, oyster mushroom. And I also have cultures for the medicinal mushrooms, you know, yeah. And also the fermented foods, which I have kimchi.
Kimchi, for those who don't know, it's like pickled cabbage.
Pickled cabbage, carrots, and it's just like a stew that has never been put on fire. But, you know,
it's like sauerkraut.
Yeah, sauerkraut is just cabbage.
Right.
That you ferment.
You put kimchi in salt water.
In salt water and brine, yeah. But kimchi, you have garlic, ginger, chili, carrots, what do you call it, spring onions, and all kinds of stuff in there. So, and then you just ferment it. And it's a Korean condiment.
It's very popular. Yeah. Most Koreans, with every meal, they'll have a small side dish of kimchi, and no meal is complete without it.
Kimchi. Yeah.
Now, people would say, how did a girl from Nungwa start eating Korean pickles? I mean, how did that happen? How did that happen?
Like I said, when I was working in Washington, D.C., one of my co-workers, you know, John Craig, who is my partner, so we moved from clinic to clinic, and he had lived in Korea. Okay. So he really introduced me to Korean food, you know, the bibimbap, the kimchi, you know, every time we go to lunch, we get Korean takeout. So that was how, you know, I got used to it. It is an acquired taste, right? And
because it's quite sour.
It is sour, it's sharp, yes, you know. And so that's how I got to know that. But I actually started doing it here because my son, Alex, he went to university in London, you know, and he came back home and he said he's a vegan.
Not a vegetarian?
No. I didn't even know that. I know vegetarian. We all know vegetarian, but this vegan, I never even heard of it. So I just thought, you know, I could still cook and just give him the food without the meat or the So I did that. He's like, Mom, no.
Not good enough.
No, I don't need this. So I'm like, that. How am I going to even, you know, cook for you? You know? So that was how it started. So he was vlogging on being a vegan in Ghana, and the questions were coming. Where could they get this? Then I realized there was a whole community. He also realized there was a whole community.
And he had moved back
to home
after finishing his studies.
Yes.
And he discovered that there's this whole audience for information. Where's this? Is it mainly Rastafarians? Because we know a lot of them are vegans.
Or... No, it's not. No, not at all. like I said, you know, there's a whole movement out there, the consciousness for people to eat healthy, and, you know, people to move away from meat and chicken and all that. You know, it's not just Rastafarian, it's just, you know, everyday people. And he also realized this, you know, so he comes to me, Mom, you know, they want to buy tofu, and I'm like, tofu, you know. Okay, so I researched in that, so I started making it for him. You know,
explain for listeners who might not know what tofu is. It's bean curd.
Yeah. It's made from soya beans.
Soya beans.
Yeah, the curd from soya beans. Yeah, which most of the vegans and the vegetarians use it as their meat, their protein base, right? So he wanted these things, and, you know, he went and bought a pack. You know, it's been like years dried and all that. And he said, Mom, it doesn't taste good. So then he's telling me, well, all my friends, you know, people, you know, wanted it. So I have to learn how to make it, you know. So I started making tofu for him, and then I also started selling it, because he was also vlogging and said, oh, you want tofu? My mom can get you tofu. That's how we got into that, you know.
Wow. So necessity was the mother of invention. Then.
Yes.
And since then, how does your fermented foods business balance out with your skincare products? Because people say, okay, so they're related, but they're very different areas.
Oh yeah, they're very, you know, different areas. No, you know, but in the long run, they all serve the same purpose. It's about eating healthy, and it's about taking good care of your skin. So it balances itself, you know, out.
But do you find that they compete for attention?
Not really.
You have a lot of energy, Aisha.
Not really, because, you know, not really, they don't. Because most of the time, you know, anybody who's thinking about using natural products for their skin, it's also the same person who's thinking about eating healthy. So it's already there. So when they come to the market, they pick soaps up, then they go to the cool box, you know, with all the fermented food. And then they also pick stuff up. So what do we ferment? I pickle all kinds of vegetables. And
can you tell us what are some of the vegetables that you pickled? Vegetables.
Pickled onions, and then jalapenos. What do you call it? These small tomatoes. What's the name of it?
Cherry tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes you can pickle, and also have the option for customers to, you know, tell me, Aisha, okay, pickle this for me. But the standard ones, I do dual pickles, which is cucumber pickles. And then I do the famous New York pickles, which is sour pickles. And then I also make the bread and butter pickles. You know the history about that?
Butter pickles?
Yes. It's a sweet pickle. And apparently during the Great Depression in the States, you know, there was no food. So people were pickling this, and they were eating it with bread, and it's really nice. So just having that, so it has a whole history behind it. So we have the bread and butter pickles, and then we have sauerkraut, we have salsa, fermented salsa, you know, and then we have what do you call it, kefir, which is cultured milk. You know, that is not vegan, you know, but all this is centralized on probiotics. You know, lacto-fermentation, that's what it's all about. And then we have the kombucha. And then on request, we also make tepache.
What's tepache?
Tepache is a fermented Mexican drink. It's very famous in Mexico. It's made out of, what do you call it, pineapple, the skin, and with cinnamon and all that. So it's
well, the coffee juices better eat.
And then we also have the coconut yogurt. And we also make coconut water kefir. You know, we ferment the coconut water, you know.
So you have all these wonderful things going on, Aisha. As I said, you're clearly a woman with a lot of energy, so you're able to manage all these balls that you're juggling in the air. But say you've been going since 2013. Where do you see your business going from here? Are you happy to keep it on this level? Or do you have any ambitions to expand?
Oh, I definitely would love to, you know, expand. I spoke earlier about I have a goal plan, a plan that probably in 3 years I want to move out of the city, you know, to the countryside. And, you know, started all over there. I definitely want to expand. I do have a few people that I do white labels for. You know what white label means?
No,
White label means, for example, if they will buy this cucumber and cocoa and cucumber soap, I just make it for them. I don't put label or anything on it, and then they create their own.
They do their own
branding out of that. So I have that going already, and I was thinking, I've been looking into probably selling on Amazon, but because of my location, it's a whole work, all that. But I want to grow, yeah.
Just to make viewers understand and listeners understand, there are some difficulties with trading from Ghana because it's a high-risk zone, or seen as a high-risk zone for a lot of the international online trading companies. But as you said, there are ways past that. So you found a way to trade through PayPal. And therefore be able to trade on Etsy. So you want to expand your online business and you want to move out of Accra. For what purpose primarily? To have a bigger operation?
Yes,
and also life?
For quality of life, I just want to go be out there in nature. And also, the plans that I have for Skin Passion, this space is just not enough for me. I do a lot of stuff. So I really like to expand, have the space that I need, because eventually, I really want to, work, produce in big volumes. Because I do get those kind of orders. And with soap, when you make it like this, you need 4 to 6 weeks for it to cure. I really don't have the space. I would like to, because if you get an order for like 10,000 bars of soap and you make it, the making is not the problem, but the curing in the space.
The making isn't a problem. 10,000 bars of soap.
It's not a problem, because, one of my molds make like 32, bars of soap, right?
So you have one mold, but it'll have 32 settings in it.
No, it's just a long mold, and when I mold it, I cut it by hand. So, if you have 10 of those molds, that gives you 320 soaps, right? And in a day, we can cast like 20 or 30, molds. So 10,000 soaps. But then where do you keep it? How do you store it? So little things that I need to do to make my work a little bit easier. That's why I need a space, and I really want to garden. I want to grow fruits, and I want to do animal farming. I want to.
You're already growing fruit. Is it not enough for you? You've shown me your passion fruit. You've shown me your dragon fruit. You've shown me your star fruit. I want to grow even more.
I want to. I like to grow rare things. Like especially the dragon fruit. I really want to have a whole farm on dragon fruit. So I really want to move into the country. And yes, I want Skin Passion to grow. I want it bigger. I want more customers, because I see it coming. And not only that, the raw materials aspect of it, And for example, somebody found me on Etsy because I sell tiger nuts. It's not only soaps in my shop on Etsy. I sell tiger nuts, I sell Pickles, I sell egusi, the melon seeds. A guy found me on Etsy, and since last year, and I've been shipping tiger nuts to him in
Do you grow
kilos.
those yourself?
No. The tiger nuts, I source them.
Producers.
Yeah, I go to the farms and buy it. And so, for example, we just got an order for like 2,000 kilos, right? So we have to go buy it, come dry it, wash it right. So that's why I want to move. I need a space because I see, from this a lot is happening. I told you also about the training I do.
Tell us a bit about the training that you do. Yes.
The training, it's not a class. I do one-on-one. So if you want to learn, wherever you are in the world, you register with me. And because we have different time zones, after you make payment, then I tell you what you need to get. You can select your own soaps. It's a week program, and you get to make a different soap each day. So you can say, I want me this and this and this. If you don't select, then I select for you. So, and I've really simplified it, I've made it so easy for people to learn. And it's just via WhatsApp, chat and come. I've trained a lot of people online.
So it could be anyone, anywhere in
the world.
One-on-one training in soap making.
Yeah, I've done Australia, Japan, China, US, and even within Africa, I've done it. Even in Ghana, I've done it online.
How do you get past the language barrier?
The funny thing is, most of the people who contact me speak English also, you know. And if you had somebody from France, English wasn't so good, but it was basically about the measurements and, you know, having patience and just guiding them through. And the way I've created the program is so easy, you know. Yeah, so I do that.
So the woman, it seems like your operation has so many aspects, it's hard to tell where they will end.
Exactly.
So who are your models of success? Are there examples that you look to of female entrepreneurs either doing a natural foods business or natural skincare products, or did you just literally make it up as you go along? Who are your heroes?
Initially, when I got into all of it, if you've listened, you know, to the way I explain it, you know, I really didn't have, you know, anybody. But now that I am in the business, I watch a lot of other women. For example, I was watching this young girl who was in the UK, and she just moved to Nigeria. And what was she? She was into furniture. You know, and it's very inspirational. I've seen a lot of, you know, women, you know, on the net, African women, who are doing wonderful things, and that really inspires me and gives me ideas. You know, I cannot name stuff, you know, of.
But no, maybe not name the women, but can you give us an idea of some of the sorts of things they were doing? These women, that
like I said, you know, there is this soap furniture maker, you know. She's not even 30 years old, and the things she's doing. And then I got a lot of inspiration from Kenyan women also when it comes to the farming. You know, Kenyan women, you'll be surprised. They actually do the farming. They farm a lot, you know. So what has inspired me is why I also want to go into the country is to go and grow arrowroots. You know, arrowroots, you know, they do a lot, yeah. So the farming sector, the agricultural sector, and, you know, even growing stuff like, rearing stuff like grass cutters and things that they do in Ghana. Yeah, there's a lot of inspiration out there. You know.
And indeed, a couple of years ago during the African Agricultural Forum, which was held here in Accra, they had the Africa Food Prize. And it went jointly to a Ugandan woman who is a doctor who has a very interesting mixed-use farm where she does pig rearing alongside crop cultivation, alongside fish farming in tanks. And so there's some wonderful examples of inspiration.
It's, you know, I mean, each time I watch these kind of things, you know, I just become alive, you know. I just become alive, you know. Yes, you know, I mean, we are so blessed. There's just so many here. I always tell my workers, I'm like, you know, you better be watching and looking, you know. Don't tell me one day that there's no work, you know. You don't have to wait for the government to give you. There's so much around. That's why one of the boys, I'm pointing him into the direction of worm casting, you know. I said, the worms are everywhere. And you know, we have the food scraps. You know, what are you waiting for?
So, what does the worm casting business that you're starting up with him? What does that consist of? It's breeding worms for.
Okay, it's the breeding the worms. Basically, what you are looking for is the waste product from the worms. You know, which is like their poo, just like cow dung or chicken.
It's a very rich form of fertilizer.
It is. I have some sitting right there behind.
And people use it in gardening, home gardening.
In home gardening, if you do it in large scales, you know, they buy it, you know, for bigger farms. It is just a natural fertilizer. Then you don't have to worry about, you know, the chemical stuff. And even if you mix it with water and spray it on the foliage, it prevents the pests and things from eating it. Yeah.
So would you describe yourself very much as part of the organic movement?
Oh, sure. Yes, definitely.
And how do you see that growing? Is it something that women in particular are engaged with at the moment, or is it across the board?
A lot of women are engaged in that. Like I said, it is also a whole movement. You know, it is something that is really trending. You know, because a lot of people are hearing about it. That we always, you know, have a laugh at the market. You know, because somebody hears that conversation and then they come to the market and they are looking for everything organic. You know, I want organic this, organic flowers, organic stuff. So, you know, people are enlightened by it when they hear it. And the simple explanation is, okay, this is organic stuff. fruits or vegetables, you know, you don't have to worry about the chemicals in it. You know, people are conscious about their health. People want to live longer and be healthy, you know, that they don't have to battle diseases and stuff. So it is a real big deal, big movement about it. Yeah, so it also helps us, you know, if you can just do that, you know, you help yourself, you help, you know, the community to live, you know, a little bit better, you know. Yeah.
And finally, will you be doing something special? How will you spend the day? Or what would you like to do to spend the day?
Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it again. But now that, you know, I'm aware of it, you know, probably that day, it falls on the 8th of March, right?
That's right.
Yes.
So Monday.
So on Saturday, on that particular day, we might shoot a video, you know, make a special soup, you know, to, you know, celebrate the day. Yeah, we might make a soup that we've never made before, just to, you know, post it out there and celebrate it. Yes.
International Women's Soap.
Exactly. Women's soap. Find a unique name for it.
Yes,
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So even if we shoot it on that day, because Saturday I'll be going to work, and then I can either shoot it before that and try to release it on International Women's Day. That would be perfect, you know. Yeah.
I think we've started the beginnings of an idea there for International Women's. In addition to the art, the show boards, the plants, the worm casts, the mushroom cultures. Wow, I'm just dazzled by Aisha, Mackenzie, Bottier, and this wonderful natural environment that she's created here in Nungwa, to which she's welcomed us this afternoon in a special Sunday night to mark International Women's Day, amongst the season of programs that we will be producing this month to celebrate women of Ghanaian origin, Ghanaian women even made in Ghana, with some connection to this country, and the wonderful work that they're doing to take things that start as a simple cottage industry almost and make a real business of it. So thank you very much, Aisha, for telling us about your operation and showing us what you're doing as a woman leader in the skincare products business. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday night. Here from Nungwa, and the production team today for this program unfortunately has been all male, but we might make some changes to that later on in the month. So your producer today has been Abedi Inim, ably assisted by Dennis Asante as always, and also helped today by Mr. Faye. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday night. And let's keep celebrating the women of Ghana through this special month of March. I have been your presenter, Nanaya Mensah, for Sunday night. And in case you have come to this program just in the tail minutes and you thought, what did I miss there? Don't worry, you can watch the program again on our Facebook page, watching the live streaming back, and indeed watch excerpts on our YouTube channel, Asaase Radio 99.5. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday night. Join us again next week.
Asaase Radio 99.5, the voice of our land.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Asaase News Update at 8. In our headlines, Ashanti Regional Minister designates Simon Osei-Mensah assures of improved security to curb robberies in the region when given the nod. Also, President Akufo-Addo to deliver first State of the Nation's address for his second term on March 9, 2021.